Alright, welcome back everyone to the Study Prep Guy channel, aka all CSEC or all CSEC, the Study Prep Guy. For this class, we'll be looking into social studies, um, natural or physical resources. So, what we're looking into right now is like physical resources, right? So, physical resources. Physical resources are those gifts of nature such as land, water, minerals, forests, animals, sunlight, and wind. Human beings utilize these physical resources to manufacture a variety of products. The land is used for agriculture, water is used for domestic and industrial purposes, minerals are mined from which several byproducts are manufactured, and forests provide lumber for various purposes. Physical resources may be classified into two categories renewable and non renewable. A renewable source is one which can be resupplied, replaced, or replenished after it has been used. A non renewable resource cannot be replaced or resupplied after it has been used. A study of renewable and non renewable resources is important since it allows us to conserve and preserve our resources. This is more significant with respect to our non renewable resources because they may become exhausted if they are indiscriminately exploited or use. So, so natural dash physical resources. So, renewable resources are examples of renewable resources is land, forest, water, animals. Some examples of non-renewable resources are petroleum, bauxite, gold, and diamond. These minerals such as diamond, gold, and what's not. These take years or millions of years to resupply and come back into distribution. So the forest resource that we will be looking into today for today's class is the land. So um, this is what we're looking into everything here. So I'll just leave it at that. So land. So Caribbean countries may be comparatively small in size. However, most of the islands are endowed with rich, fertile soils, which in some instances yield valuable mineral deposits. So the big question is, what are some significant importance of land? So agriculture, farming, growing of crops and rearing of animals, forestry. Another important thing about land is housing. Another thing that could be done on land is mining. Gold, diamonds, petroleum, asphalt, bauxite, aluminum from bauxite is used to produce pots, pans, window frames, and bodies of airplanes. Buildings of industrial plants, and land is even used for transportation, construction of roads. So we look at the list in the productive uses of done in the selected Caribbean countries. We'll not look at the so some issues that occur with the misuse of land is like poor planning on the part of governments, which allows fertile land to be used for housing and industrial developments instead of agriculture. This leads to food shortages and consequent high prices, quarrying and mining. So various minerals, which results in the vegetation and topsoil being removed without re reforestation, slopes of mountains therefore collapse, causing landslides. So quarrying and mining is one way or one misuse of the land. Deforestation is another misuse. The indiscriminate removal of forest trees over wide surface area exposes the valuable topsoil to erosion. Mass wasting and landslide therefore occur when rain falls. Another thing that could be a misuse of land is poor planning techniques, shifting cultivation, moving from one plot of land to the next. Monocropping. The undesirable practice is the planting of a single type of crop on a piece of land that is very much mismanagement and is one misuse of land. Overgrazing. When goats, sheep, and cattle are allowed to graze on the same pasture over prolonged periods, the removal of almost all of vegetation leading to topsoil exposed, leading to soil erosion, plowing. Sometimes farmers plow hillsides, farming gullies and furrows which run from the top to the bottom of the hills. Consequently, when it rains, the soil is washed downhill and soil erosion occurs. So, what are some ways that we can conserve land for sustainable development? So, we have replanting of vegetation after mining, control logging, which ensures that only a few mature trees are removed from forest areas, use of fertilizers to maintain soil fertility, crop rotation replace crop rotation, which should replace monocropping. Pasture should be subdivided to allow the rotation of grazings. Another solution to this issue is plowing of hillsides, which should be done during the contours. So, um, the question of the day is, list the main physical resource of your country and identify their uses. Type in the comment below. Identify the various ways by which land can be renewed. There are a lot of ways by which land can be renewed. Type in the comment below. That's a question for you guys. What are the different uses of land in your country? That is a question for you. Well, I am located right now in the beautiful country of South America, and there are many uses of land. Farming, that is one of the major uses. Housing, that's another use. Um, as a unit of recreation, we play games on the land. We play hopscotch. We play cricket. We play football, and cricket is very much prominent in Guyana right now. So let's go into the second resource of the day, which is widely known around the world as forests. So our survival as human beings depends to a significant degree on the existence of areas of forests, such as in Guyana, Belize, and the Amazon. So there are a lot of rules of the forest. They promote rainfall. Large forest areas release a significant amount of moisture into the atmosphere through the process of transpiration. So that's one rule of the forest. Another rule is prevent soil erosion. Trees keep the soil together. A third use of soil is prevent flooding. Fourthly, it maintains the composition of the atmosphere by releasing via oxygen, turn carbon dioxide into oxygen via through photosynthesis. Maintains the composition of the atmosphere. Just said it before. Five, reduces noise pollution. Six, wind protection. Seven, medical remedies. We usually use medical herbs from the forest to create medicines. Eight, recreation dash ecotourism. Nine, logging. So, what are some causes of deforestation? It's a big question that a lot of scholars ask. So, one reason for logging is forest fires, which are caused by careless campers' disposal of light those cigarette. So, one cause of deforestation is, like, for example, persons might just show something in the forest, or the temperatures might be extremely high, and that could cause massive casualties where trees are burnt down. Excessive logging activities. Excessive logging activities such as cutting down trees. That is one of the causes for deforestation. Removal of vegetation for mining purposes. This is another prominent issue or cause of deforestation. What are some ways that we can conserve the forest and maintain sustainable development? So let me answer that. Many governments have designated certain areas as forest reserves. In such areas, logging is strictly prohibited, meaning government intervention, where the government itself intervenes and stop the incidents of logging. A massive reforestation program, meaning planting back trees. That is one way we could take out deforestation and actually maintain our forests within our countries. Strict and severe penalties for illegal logging. This is where the law comes in and stop the issue altogether. So let's look into the uses of water. Water sustains life. We need water to live. A second function of water is water as a solvent. Water has an excellent property of dissolving things. As such, it is used extensively for personal hygiene, washing of several items in a home, and in industries. Water as a cooling agent. The human body is cooled by a natural process of perspiration, and for perspiration to occur, we need water. Transportation, we use via boats, we use via like boats in general to move from point A to point B, country to country, region to region, and continent to continent via through boat. Recreation, ecotourism, a number of water sports such as swimming, sailing, fishing and sailing, skiing, water pooling and diving are all possible because of the presence of water. Water provides food via fish, via aquatic animals that are eatable by humans. It provides hydrochloric power. We sometimes generate power through the process of water. So conservation of the water, the water cycle. The water cycle is nature's way of purifying and redistributing water over the Earth's surface. Water from rivers, lakes, oceans, and other surface areas is, in many instances, impure. The heat from the sun eventually causes the air and the earth's surface to become hot. The hot air absorbs moisture through the process of evaporation. The moisture-laden air rises to the higher levels of the atmosphere. In this cooler region, condensation takes place. As the hot air cools, it gives up its moisture and precipitation in the form of rain occurs. Water reaching the Earth's surface flows into rivers, lakes, and oceans. Some percolates underground where it can be tapped through artesian walls. Um, Conservation water through storage. So there is a chart. I don't know if I could pull out the chart here. Let me see if we could pull out a chart. I'll show you guys the water cycle. The water cycle. So this is a picture of the water cycle. No, this one is better. So let me show you a picture of the water cycle. The water cycle is usually have condensation. So we have snow, we have groundwater, surface runoff, snow, precipitation, rain. It evaporates, then it condenses. So that is basically the water cycle. Precipitation. So basically, the water cycle is clouds condense. So the water, groundwater, becomes surface runoff. It's precipitation. No, it's right here. So groundwater evaporates, it then condenses, and then precipitation occurs, and then we have the surface runoff. So that is basically the water cycle. So what are some ways that we could reduce water wastage? So water wastage, that is a very big issue. Let me go back to this stuff here now. Um, Reducing water wastage. We can conserve water by reducing its wastage. The following are suggestions that can help in the reduction of water wastage. Consumers should turn off taps when not in use and repair leaking taps. The use of hose for washing motor vehicles and watering plants can be substituted by water containers. Use of containers for bathing and washing dishes saves water. Governments can prevent wastage by the installation of water meters. Leaking mains should be repaired promptly. Seawater can be made portable through desalination. So, water treatment. Water collected in dams contains a number of impurities, which includes bacteria, sediments, and other suspended materials such as leaves, twigs, and other debris. In order to remove these impurities, water goes through a series of processes in a retreatment plant. Stages in water purification. So we have the first stage, which is coagulation. In this stage of the treatment of water, a coagulant such as alum is added to the water. This causes small suspended matter to form clumps, which eventually settles at the bottom. So we have sedimentation. So in this stage, the water is allowed to settle for a period of time in order to allow all suspended matter to settle. Filtration. The water in this stage is filtered as it passes through a layer of fine sand and bed of gravel. We have chlorination. This is the final stage where chlorine is added to the water to destroy any bacteria which were not previously removed. That is the full cycle in the stages of water purification. So sources of water pollution. So sources is industrial waste, domestic effluents. These are in the like bathing water, water used to wash your clothes and what's not. Sewage, that is another sources or source of water pollution. Um, Pesticides and pesticides, oil spills, solid waste, all these things are waste, are sources of water pollution. Consequences of water pollution or ecological impact. Acid rain contributes to fishes being killed in the rivers and lakes. Detergents encourages the purification of marine life, which uses up the oxygen in water. Oil spills. Since oil is light, it floats on the surface of the water, which could cause a set of headache. Um, Sewage. Water polluted with sewage transmit deadly diseases such as dysentery, typhus, and cholera. Solid waste dumped into our rivers prevents the flow of water and contributes to flooding. When wastewater enters the sea, it introduces chemicals and bacteria that can be harmful to coral reefs. So there are a lot of solutions to water pollution that we'll now be talking on. So solution one, we only give like three solutions. Education to the mass media can serve to prevent individuals and corporations from indiscriminate pollutions of water. Strict laws with heavy penalties. This is to implement government intervention come into play to stop the issue of water pollution in its tracks. Industry should create reservoirs for industrial effluent. This can be treated to remove harmful chemicals before the water is disposed of. And that would be all for water. Now we'll be going into now we'll be going into air pollution. So air pollution is the contamination of the air. Air pollution is the contamination of the air with impurities. That is what air pollution is. Effects of air pollution. One of the most detrimental effects of air pollution is on the human health. This could be in the form of headaches. Air pollution can cause that, and a lot of other things it could cause. And one of the most common pollutants is carbon monoxide, derived mainly from incomplete combustion of gasoline in automobile gases engines. Sulfur oxide, produced mainly by burning of coal and oil, can cause both temporary and permanent injury to the respiratory system. So sulfur oxides can cause permanent destruction of basically the human body. And another point is air pollutants are damaging to a wide variety of materials. Steel corrodes 2 to 4 times faster in industrial areas than it does in rural areas. So it could cause metals to basically become rotten, I would like to say, faster in cases of air pollution. Decreased visibility caused by air pollution interferes with safe operation of aircraft and automobiles, disturbing transportation schedules. And one of the most intriguing aspects of air pollution is its effects on the weather and climate. It could cause change in climate, like for example, an increase in air or increase in rain. That is one of the most detrimental things that air pollution has, or one of its major effects. So let's look in now into the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect. So let's go into this. Yeah, let's just look at a good. Let's look at a reasonably good image. So from the greenhouse effect, we could see the Earth. We see that as thing goes up into the atmosphere, it is trapped. So it's reflected by light. So this is basically an image of the greenhouse effect. So the greenhouse effect may be described as the global atmospheric warming caused by the heating of atmospheric gases, which are prevented from rising to higher levels. So greenhouse effect is basically when the Earth's temperature is rising. due to the fact that air, hot air that is being reflected back to the earth. So it says here, IR absorbed and radiated. So it's basically absorbed by the earth's surface because it's trying to go and it's being bounced back to the earth. That is the air's need. Like for example, if sulfur, like for example, if carbon monoxide, which is a gas released by a car, is released back into the atmosphere, is then back repelled by the it's actually back repelled to the earth again, and that causes the earth to get warmer instead of cooler, and that could cause a change in climate as well. So, causes of the greenhouse effect. Some of the greenhouse gases are carbon monoxide, methane, and chlorofluorocarbons (CFCs). These gases form a blanket in the higher levels of the atmosphere, thus trapping heat. This results in global warming. Industrialization and activities connected with modern living and anthropogenic conditions contribute significantly to the greenhouse effect. Some of these are explained below. The burn of fossil fuels such as gasoline in motor vehicles release carbon monoxide. Fluorocarbons are used in propellants in spray cans, air conditioners, and refrigerators. Fluorocarbons are potent greenhouse gases. So, what are some of the consequences of the greenhouse gases? Um, on July 6, 2023, the planet experienced the hottest day ever in over 1,000 years. It causes a rise in the Earth's natural temperature, thus increasing the heat in the Earth's atmosphere. Rising sea temperatures cause the destruction of coral reefs. That is one of the major causes of that's one of the major issues with the greenhouse effect also. Activities that can reduce the greenhouse effect. A massive program of reforestation should be vigorously pursued. Born of sugarcane before harvest, born of garbage, and born of vegetation in preparation for agriculture should be discontinued. The use of CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, as propellants in spray cans and refrigerators can be substituted for environmentally friendly products. So, impact of global warming dash climate change. One of the major impacts of global warming dash climate change is its impact on tourism. Tourism is majorly impacted by it a lot. Since transportation, for example, the climate change could be in the form of tropical disasters, which can disrupt the flow of transportation via sea, via air, or via land. Both of the three transportation roadways can be massively stopped because of climate change. Severe drought, storms, and flooding affect the production of local agricultural produce. It could also affect agricultural produce in a quite negative manner. Extreme dry conditions cause forest and bush fires, leading to deforestation, climate change, or a rising atmospheric temperature. Like, for example, the days being hotter than usual can cause forest fires. So there's a lot of actions that have been taken to stop the incidence of global warming dash climate change, such as the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the UNFCCC, focuses on the reduction of greenhouse gas emitted into the atmosphere in 1997. The Kyoto Protocol targeted the reduction of greenhouse gases currently. 180 parties, some from the Caribbean, participated in this agreement. The Laws Agreement in 2015 strengthened the global response by limiting temperatures rise in the century by below 2 degrees. Some Caribbean governments were signatories to this agreement. The Conference of Parties (COP) held in Glasgow 2021 had the purpose to finalize agreements among the 192 signatories to the Paris Agreement as to how each member would reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The Caribbean Community Climate Change Center (CCCCC) was founded in 2002 and focused on improving regional policies to deal with climate change by raising awareness and developing strategies to address same. So, other solutions to air pollution and care for the atmosphere. Strict laws should be passed. Industrial sites should be should be placed on the leeward side of countries, meaning on the far side of the country where it can't affect the people. Carpooling, instead of five people using five car, all five of those persons can just use one car. Use of public transportation instead of private vehicles. So let's go on into land pollution now. So what are some land pollution is very simplistic. So I don't really think there is a definition for it. Land pollution is basically like in a situation wherein you just throw something in the ground. That's littering. That's pollution. The growth of the world's population has led to a growing demand for goods and services. Technological advancement have resulted in the proliferation of new factories and chemical plants, which cater for the ceaseless wants of a large population. Waste from production plants and household are becoming problematic with respect to disposal. The land is sometimes seen as the only receptacle for waste produced by factories and families. So, some sources of land pollution is solid waste, toxic waste from industries, radioactive waste, and what's not. So, some consequences. Like, for example, in the case of oil spills on the land, it could destroy vegetation, meaning that plants can't grow. Toxic waste is poisonous and affects human health in a variety of ways. Trash thrown on the ground and all these things can cause sickness to occur, such as chloride, such as diarrhea, asthma, what's not. These things are caused by land pollution. So, solution for the land are solutions to water pollution. Something that you need to know that is in common with both land, air, water pollution, and even forests is that they have one thing in common. One solution to all of these different types of resources and what's not is government intervention. Government have the power and authority to stop these things and to in some way slow it down. So one solution to the land pollution is through government intervention. Solid waste such as cans, bottles, tires, etc., which are improperly disposed of, are unsightly and unhygienic. Legislation, laws should be passed to stop any perpetrators that try in any way to destroy the land. Consumers should use shopping bags made of biodegradable materials instead of plastic. So the last thing I'll be looking at today is noise pollution. Sources of noise pollution: construction machinery, transportation equipment, public address systems, factories and manufacturing plants, musical equipment, explosive, and barking dogs. All of these things are sources of pollution that should be taken into consideration. Consequences of pollution is loud noise disturbs peaceful sleep, resulting in restlessness and tiredness. Somebody wakes you up in the middle of the night, you feel exhausted, you feel tired, you just want to sleep, and they're playing this thing extremely loud. They have the music up 100%, and you're just trying to have a peaceful, sleepy night. Productivity at work is hampered. You can't get to focus 100%, even though there are some people that need music, like myself, to study. Solutions to noise pollutions: education on the effects of noise pollutions, more efficient silencers in vehicles, legislation to prohibit noise levels over 80 decibels in residential areas. And that, my friend, would be everything for social studies on the topic of resources. And it's nice to be with you. Please subscribe, hit the bell notifications, and subscribe to the Study Prep family. Have a great day.